Thank you very much, everybody, of course, for coming, and also for all what you did in this month together. And thank you, Bobbie, to be here.
My pleasure.
Now we would like to use this time, this space. So time and space is a good container for thoughts. And what we love in our place here in Venice, in Castello 95, also from the beginning of our story, was not only to have interesting, I hope, art exhibitions, but also to give room to ideas, we hope also new ideas, thoughts. And we know very well that it's difficult to see. So this is why also today we take advantage of have our artist Bobbie here and to share several ideas together, watching the exhibition and also speaking a little bit together about not only the Bobbie artworks, but also about the meanings that we can have in having her exhibition here. I would like to start, Bobbie, just with a quotation by an Italian, I'd say a Venetian poet, and with his statement is a little provocative, but I think we need something of provocative sometimes. And the name of the poet is Mario Stefani, and I translate for you the statement that is, if Venice did not have its bridge, Europe would be an island. So, you know that, of course, Venice is an island. So, and also Venice is built on many different islands and many different bridges. But we have only one bridge, but we call it the bridge. And the bridge is the bridge of the freedom, we call, because it's the bridge of Libertà. And the bridge is linking Venice with the ground around Venice. So the provocative statement is, without the bridge, Europe would be an island. Now, I think we cannot speak about Europe anymore, because with the globalization, we can speak about the world would be an island. So what I want to ask to Bobbie is your feeling, your experience to have an exhibition in Venice, in this particular island. I know, because we met each other before, I know that the exhibition was in New York, I was there, and also it was very interesting for me to think also the relationship between two different islands, because New York is an island,
Yeah.
and Venice is an island as well. So what I would like to ask is the experience to be here in Venice, maybe something about these different islands, and a little more later, if it's possible, if you have, after this experience, if you have new ideas coming from this experience in Venice.
Okay.
Thank you.
I personally believe, I mean, you were talking about boundaries around countries, basically. I don't believe in them. I think that day is long gone. I think there are people that are still trying to hang on, certainly, particularly in my country. They won't persevere, it won't matter. The world is very small. You have distinct culture here in Venice, which is charming. It's wonderful to be here. Yes, it has influenced the way I think about things. there is an underlying, and I felt it the minute I walked in, there's an underlying layer of mystery here, which I can't quite explain. I know it exists because I can feel it. So that is partly what is going to happen here, that it becomes a little more abstracted because of the mystery, which I felt almost immediately. I think that certainly I was, and most people are raised to think binary, us versus them, the United States versus Europe. You know, we are getting way past that. It is not appropriate anymore for where we're at in the world. And finally, it works for me. I absolutely love it. The people are different in New York, of course. You guys are here in Venice, much friendlier. You're also a lot more polite, which is, thank you, that's welcome. So all in all, yeah, it would be different if or when I show in London than it is here. But people are basically people. You know, once the veneer of the place that you were raised is gone. But I was very serious about the mysterious aspect of this place. It's like magic. There is some, and I'm not at all certain that it's white magic. I think there is some black magic mixed into this place as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Bobbie. Yes, thank you, Bobbie. I completely agree. And also, yes, because speaking about magic sometimes could be a little not uncanny, but
Yeah.
And also, I agree with you, and I was wondering about your thought about boundaries. Now, in a world in which everything is changing, and the uncertainty is going on so deep, and we are making walls in many places, also in Europe, in the US as well. So to speak, to be in a place and to feel a place without boundaries would be a very interesting project for the future, I hope.
Well, I think it's part of the thing of believing that you belong someplace.
Yes.
And I've never felt that.
Yeah.
So, it's hard to me it is so artificial. I mean, I have friends all over the world.
Yeah.
As well it should be.
Yeah. Yes, this reminds me of what I was, yes, because we didn't prepare each other the question before, so it's interesting because your second part of your answer gives me the way to think about. I was thinking this afternoon about what I saw in your works, many different geographies that transcend the dimensions of space and time, and so when you speak about boundaries, I think that also this kind of different dimension that you have without space and time. Here there is a lagoon, there is a sea, and we need a compass sometimes.
Oh yes.
To navigate. So what I want to ask you, can you help us? So do you have your personal compass? Your compass can help us in our compass, because seeing your artworks, we have feelings, we have personal different orientations, but you have your personal compass.
Well, just as I don't believe in boundaries, I also don't believe in time and space. And they're very artificial. We made them up so that you could meet me for lunch at a certain time. I believe in something called the quantum field, which is totally divorced from time and space. Okay. And I think as science gets to that point, they're already very close to it. That whole artificial aspect of place and time will fall away. It's not important to me. I absolutely do not believe this is the only lifetime. And I think there are parallel universes on top of it. There are tracks that go along, and every once in a while, if you're lucky enough, you can touch it. You can feel someone from another track come in. It's lucky I live in California, because a lot of people believe that there. It gets problematic if I move into the middle of the United States, because they don't. It's much easier for me to navigate life if I don't put artificial boundaries on it. If I don't put fences around how I act and how I live. And for me, time and place are two of the worst fences ever invented.
Yeah, Bobbie, when you speak about this part, this magic, this parallel life, you used before the verb to touch.
Yes.
Yeah. So using to touch is like, touch is toccare, we say in Italian. Touch is really something that really you can touch, so you can grasp it with your senses. Yeah.
But that's only one sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, this is like I agree, and also to use the paradoxical, the same verb to say something different is interesting.
Yeah.
And this, let me think about your work, the astrologies that are appearing backlight in many of your work. So what I think is watching your works and watching with the eyes of the backlight of astrology reminds different biographies. So is your biography involved, intertwined in your work? And if is your biography intertwined in your work, how much is? And the presence of your personal biography in your artworks?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I don't think that they would make much sense to people who are not intrinsically spiritual. And I'm not talking about religion, because I don't believe in religion. I'm talking about actual spirituality. If you believe that as matter you die and that's it, there's nothing else, you just die, then this also would not make any sense. I don't think you ever go away. I think that you choose not to be here. And I also think that people come back. I believe in reincarnation. So when I do a painting, it's important for me to immerse myself in who that person was, what they did, and I will often do their horoscope. I will go into the astrology. I know what their signs are. I know what they were capable of doing. And it's freakily eerie how it matches up. RBJ, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, was born under a constellation that had to do with justice. And she just fulfilled it to the nth degree. So I don't think that you are governed by it. I think that it is an option. And I think it's there as a presence. You can ignore it or not. It's up to you. And it's astonishing to me how many times people fulfill their destiny, for want of a better term. And I also, since we're on this riff, they just discovered two major clouds that are to the left and right of the moon. And the scientists discovered this. And they're plasma, which, not like what's in your body, we have that in our body, we have a small amount of it, but they call it plasma. And the only way they know it's there is that it gathered dust, so they can see the dust. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to see it at all. But what they were able to do was to excite one end of it, one on the left, and the one on the right picked it up. In other words, they're communicating with one another. And they're massive. They're like 20 times the size of the Earth. So obviously they're benign, otherwise we'd be cinders. But it's fascinating to me that even though we've always believed there are other things out there, I think we're going to get proof of it fairly soon. And that's just bonus. I think that's incredible.
This is fascinating because, yeah, and when reality is so complex,
Yes.
we need to have so many different points of view. You have to face the complexity, you know? So I think that to have so many possibilities can help us. Art, neuroscience, astrology, psychology, and whatever that in the.
Well, psychology is just absolutely vital, particularly to the work that I'm doing. When I do portraits, that's about psychology. That's about who that person really is. Which is why I will never do a portrait for a person for hire, ever. Because there's no way that most people see themselves the way they actually are. And all you're going to do is just piss them off. If you, they're going to be like, I don't look like that. Yes, you do. Yeah, you do. So, yeah, I don't do it.
I understand, Bobbie. So I'm laughing because I was thinking about my first job because as you know, of course, I work like a psychiatrist and I work like psychoanalyst, and sometimes I'm trying to help people recognize themselves. So so I was asking to myself which kind of picture I can help people doing about themselves.
Well, you know that many people are very happy being miserable, right?
This
Yeah. And if you interfere with that, they're not going to like you. Okay, just a hint.
That's true.
Maybe we can work together to make a compromise.
Oh, okay.
And so, thank you, Bob. And coming back, I was thinking about the title of the exhibition. The power of one. So the power of one. When I read the title, The Power of One, I was a little surprised at the beginning because I was thinking, oh, I know, the power of one? So it could be dangerous? Maybe it's like Adolf Hitler or Benito Mussolini or the dictator of maybe now. I don't want to speak about our politicians as now. Politically correct. So the power of one could be a little dangerous. But in the second time, I thought, and also there was something written by Caldironi about that. But it doesn't matter, the author. I thought that the power of one could be something that is the power of responsibility. Now it's difficult to have the responsibility for someone or for something. So the power that we can have for our responsibility, each one, every person, and also the responsibilities that we can have to change a little bit something. So in this, or from this point of view, I can think about the power of one, the power that we can have to do also a very, very small, a very, very little thing to change something. And that's to join our power of one, our small resources together, and together, we can try to change a little bit something for the future, to give our legacy to the new generations, or whatever. So this, I think, that now is probably the power we are trying in our also small place here in Venice, the power of this small place to change something and to put together our possibilities of changing. So coming back, of course, I ask you this way, what is for you when you think about the word of power, because power is so huge and very powerful word, and what you think about the power of one.
Well, I'm a product of the 60s in the United States, which means I was a hippie. And lived in a commune. And it was in that generation that we found out that one person, it only took one, who was willing to go all the way. Didn't matter what they did to them. They weren't going to alter what they believed. And that person, and we watched them, and it was in Berkeley, where she sat in front of the administrator's door she started by herself, sitting there. When it was finished, there were 1,000 people sitting in front of his door. He couldn't get in or get out. And so that one person altered the history. I certainly was in many of the protests against Vietnam. I was in many of the protests for women's rights. And by the way, it's one giant circle in the United States. We're right back. Greta, yeah, I know. Greta Thunberg. I mean, how many of you at the age of 13 thought it would be cool to take an umbrella in the rain and stand out in front of Parliament by yourself with a sign, a handmade sign about the environment? She started a worldwide movement by the time it was finished. The power of one is from the bottom up, not from the top down. We are used to taking orders. Stop it. It's totally unnecessary. You know what needs to be done? Do it. If it's correct, other people will follow you. It's that simple. And yeah, it does just take one. It takes someone to start it.
Thank you, Bobbie. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
I think that we can open a little discussion if someone can take advantage to ask something to Bobbie, or you can.
I would like to ask something.
Please.
When you were presenting your works to me, we talked about the use of water in
Yes.
some of your paintings. So can you explain better this concept?
Oh yes. Well, I did it on purpose because of Venice. The kind of half circles that you see, the swirls, that's the Japanese symbol for water. And the little one at the end there is Venice. I made it on purpose. That is the night sky, what it looks like now when this exhibit opens. So it actually is a calling card for Venice and for the Biennale and for this Orchestra 925.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Like it reminds the title also of the Biennale, the
Yes.
milk, no? The
Yes.
milk of dreams,
Yeah.
some way, you know? The milk of dreams, yeah.
Very good. Yay.
I have a question, Bobbie. So talking about the power of one person to make a difference. And so this show is called The Power of One. So I'm wondering, what is the strongest statement you see in this show as your power of one kind of statement?
Well, the very fact I did it is the start. And also, it's almost all women. Because you guys don't have a problem, okay? White males are rule the world, pretty much. So I wanted it to be, I mean, I didn't exclude men. Jesus is here. There you go. But mainly it's about women. Yeah. And most people don't pick up on it. But, yeah.
Women in their relationship to nature, to the cosmos.
What you're looking at are the astrological, what the sky looked like the day they were born, and oftentimes the day they died. And so in RBG's case, Washington, D.C., I believe it was 2018 or 2019, I've forgotten. But that's exactly what the sky looked like overhead the night she died.
What do you think about when she passed away? Do you think she kind of became stars in the constellation of the day she died?
Yeah.
What do you believe?
Yeah, I mean, that is a philosophy that is as ancient as people, as the earth. That the stars are glimmers of people who have gone. Yeah, I think it's entirely possible. I have very odd views on dying, so I don't think you lose consciousness if you train yourself. So I am practicing dying, literally. Okay. I want to be fully conscious when I die, because I'm just curious as hell. I mean, why wouldn't you want to be? Let's see if I'm right. Okay, let's see if you just go to another place. I think you lose your fear of dying once someone that you love very deeply has died. That kind of takes care of it, because you know what's coming. So I've always been fascinated with it. I think that you have a choice whether you come back. I think you can stay in whatever land forever. I plan on coming back.
And tell me what happened.
Yes, I will.
Don't hunt me, please.
No.
And you know that there is a psychoanalyst, a very well known psychoanalyst, Winnicott.
Yeah.
And he wrote, "Oh God, let me be alive when I die."
Yes. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think that so many people are freaked out. They're just totally. And
Yes, exactly.
I assume that I'm going to die when I'm damn good and ready, frankly. I'll probably be just like, okay, I've had enough now. Yeah, I'm not doing one more flight. I'm done. Okay.
Thanks, Bobbie.
Hey, my pleasure.
And thanks to everybody.
Yeah, thank you for being here.